Madam, I'm transferring the host to you.
Okay.
And now you can take proceeding further. Right. Okay, done.
Thank you, Majid. So from here, I'll took over. Okay, so good morning to all of you. So I can see it's good to see you there, people. Jitendra, Anupma, Manya, Piyush, Sonakshi, and the Sudev. So I'll start. Before that, I'll have to share the screen and share. Yes. Can you all see it out?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So I'll have to do the slide share. Okay. So before I'll start the today's session in practice, so I need to recap, give the recap of the last session. So last session, what we did? Oh, again the same problem. Who is this?
मुझे लगता है हम लोग पागल खाने में जाते हैं पागल खाने में ऐसी शॉप सुनते हैं तब उनको लगता था कि हमें किसी भी शॉप का भी एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है अब लगता है
Rupesh, on your background, it's sound is coming.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, just mute yourself because somebody is talking in at your background, I believe, isn't it? Okay. Okay. So I'll start. Hello. Can you hear me all? Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. Can you hear me all? Okay. So last session, what we did was the HR strategy key framework. Okay, to align the human capital with the business performance.
Business strategy.
Yeah, business performance. Actually, the HR strategy key framework to align the human capital with the business performances. So 10 steps we had discussed, which was, I had told you, I had discussed about the Deloitte one, but it is a generic one which any company can use it out. So it's a beautiful 10 steps HR strategy key framework. So I'll be giving you the making you recall those 10 steps first, and then I'll be coming to the today's topic actually. So anybody can recall, Kiki, what was the first step for that HR strategy key framework? HR strategy, what do we mean by the HR strategy? When we use the word strategy, that means aligning the HR along with the business strategy.
Business strategy.
Business strategy, exactly. So first thing, Kiki, we are talking about the HR strategy framework. So HR strategy align the HR with the functional HR with the business strategy we are talking about. So how to align the human capital with the business performances? For that, 10 steps are there. First, before developing the HR strategy, you need to understand the business strategy. Unless and until you people will be understanding the business strategy of the company, you cannot align the HR along with the business strategy. So first step is understand the business strategy, and the business strategy is all about, we had discussed in the session 2 also, it is all about beating the competition in the market. So business strategy, yeah, business strategy. So first step, you need to understand what is the business of the company. You need to understand the market forces, the market trend, then market sentiments, and then you need to identify their impact on the HR strategy. Okay. So once you understand the business strategy, the business forces, the business sentiments, and the business trend of the market and their impact, and identify their impact on the HR, then the step 2, we are moving for defining the HR strategy. Okay, so second step, we are defining the HR strategy. The HR strategy defining means what we are doing into the second step. So we need to provide a roadmap to the company for creating competitive advantage, that how the organization will leverage the organization human capital of the company to achieve the business objective. So HR strategy, because when we talk to align the HR with the business and strategy, that means we need to provide, HR needs to provide a roadmap of creating the, to utilize the effective utilization of the human capital as a competitive advantage for the company. They should give the opportunity to the company to utilize, leverage the human capital to achieve their business objective. So once we have defined the HR strategy, actually, then the third step was segment HR customer. Segment HR customer means we need to identify the critical workforce of the organization. We need to define and determine which workforce segment are most critical to achieve the desired results, and then tailor-made the specific program and services for that segment. So this is done into the step 3. After the segment, we have identified the critical group of the company. Then you need to, I'll have to admit all. Admitting. Okay. So what I was telling you, I need fourth step, after once we have identified the critical workforce group of the company and we have tailor-made the programs for them, then we need to, people are joining frequently. Okay. Prioritize. We need to prioritize the HR investments. So step 4 will be the prioritizing the HR investments. In that step, what we need to do, we need to identify whatever are the ongoing HR projects of the company, and then we need to understand their expected cost and the benefits, and then we need to properly allocate the resources available with us, and we need to allocate the funding accordingly. We need to, at this step, we need to identify which HR services and activities need to be enforced, which need to be eliminated, and which need to be created. Okay, so once we have done that, then step 5 will be there. So we need design HR services. So fifth step was design HR services and solutions. So design and implementing HR solutions that are critical to ensure the execution of the HR strategy. Okay, so at this step, what we are doing, we are analyzing the current services, current employee services, and then we are either we are designing the new HR services, or we are redesigning the existing services into that, just to provide the HR service solution to the company. So once we have designed the HR services and the solutions, then only designing will not do. So step 6, what we are doing, delivery model. We need to ensure the right HR services delivery model. So converting the HR strategies and initiatives into tangible business value requires the appropriate delivery approach, actually. Okay, a solid foundations of HR capabilities and infrastructure, and the definitions of business driven performance measures to track whether the expected results are being delivered or not. So for that, you need to, one person is waiting. Okay. So I'll keep admitting for the 10 minutes, and then after that I will be moving with the topic. Okay, so we need to ensure the right HR services delivery model to deliver to the design and HR services or the solutions, whatever we have designed it out. So once we have ensured the right model, then we need to establish the right HR capability. So step 7 was the establishing the right HR capability. What do we mean by the establishing the right HR capabilities? That identify the skills and competencies required to deliver to the HR strategy. So identifying and building the advanced skills, competencies, and capability required for HR to fulfill its strategic goals. Okay, getting it out. So after establishing the right HR capability, after identifying the right skills and competencies required to deliver the HR strategy, what we need to do at the step 8 is the improve HR operational excellence continuously, because continuation is required actually. The designing and implementing the delivery model only will not do. So now we need to improve the HR operational excellency. So what do we need to do at this step? We need to assess the efficiency of HR related services and activities through the qualitative and quantitative analysis. So assess the cost structure of the HR function and control significant long-term and short-term HR related costs. So at this level, we need to design the supporting tools, processes and infrastructure to help the HR staff succeed. Okay. So once we have done all this, step 8, step 9, what we need to do now, we have designed the HR services and solution, we have established the delivery model, and we have had operational excellency is there. So now step 9, we need to build the HR brand. Okay, what do we mean by the building the HR brand? Anybody can tell me what do we mean by the building HR brand? Anyone can tell me? Hello? What is the meaning of building HR brand? Anyone?
This, hello, ma'am. This Rupesh this side. Hello.
Yeah. Yeah, Rupesh, tell me.
HR brand means I mean, how we deliver our things to our internal customers.
So what do we need to do with procedure for building the HR brand? What we need to do?
By enhancing competency of the.
We need to design at this step. We need to design, develop, and implement and communication process and well integrated communication process to market the HR functions within the organization. Understand and communicate the value of HR to the business leaders and key stakeholders. How the HR brand will be built is, so we need to communicate the value of the HR to the business leaders and the key stakeholders. We need to market the HR functions within the organization and then obtain the feedback from the employees how the HR is doing and what should be properly or how they should perform. So both the feedback, so feedback mechanism should be there actually. Communication process is a complete communication. It should not be the closed one-sided. We are communicating and we are not taking the feedback. When we talk about the communication system, the open communication system, then there should be the feedback mechanism also should be there. Yeah, we need to take the feedback from the employee of the company actually. Thinking how is the performance of the HR and how they should be improving it out. What should they be doing to improve the HR performance? So once we are building the HR brand, then the 10th step, we need to measure the impact of the HR products and services. What is the meaning of measuring the impact of HR products and services? Identify the key performance measures to track the return on investment, ROI, of HR products and services. And for that, we need to design and implement an HR scorecard. Getting it out? So today's topic is that only, the HR scorecard. So okay, what is this HR scorecard? What is the objective of the HR scorecard? So I'll be coming to that. So for the measuring the impact of HR product and services, we need to design and implement the HR scorecard. Okay, so I'll be finally coming to my slides. Okay, so today's topics will be session 4. Today's topic will be the workforce and HR scorecard and then developing an HRD strategy. So in the first, second session, we did the developing process of the strategic planning. Then the last session we did HR strategy, that is the functional HR strategy developing process. That is a key framework which we right now just discussed. And then in this session, we'll be developing an HRD strategy. So first we'll be discussing today will be the HR scorecard. That what is HR scorecard? Okay. So who can tell me what is this HR scorecard? It's a very common thing. Who can tell me what is HR scorecard? Anybody? Hello? Anyone can tell me what is the HR scorecard? It's a very
Actually, ma'am, to this side. Actually,
yeah.
HR scorecard we see as a KPIs of HR as a department, as a function. How we are going to deliver output.
KPI is one of the part of it. So what overall is the HR scorecard? Who can tell me? Who can tell me? देखिए, as I discussed at the 10th step of the HR strategy framework, that after once we have strategized the HR strategy, we have developed, we have designed the HR services, we have designed the HR solutions, we have designed the HR delivery model, we have brand the HR, then we need to measure the performance of the HR product and services, and for that only the HR scorecard is developed. Okay, first the HR scorecard was actually first introduced by the Baker and the Dave Ulrich in the year 2001. So it was developed first by the Dave Ulrich and Baker in 2001. What was happening actually in the traditional timing? One of the key problems that HR has been facing in the past decades is the perception that HR doesn't add to the company's strategy. That and that's why in 2001 the Dave Ulrich has introduced the HR scorecard. So like any other department, HR also needs to be accountable. Okay, so for whatever initiative they are taking, whatever HR practices they are introducing, whatever programs they are, whatever policies they are implementing into the organization, for that HR needs to be accountable. Okay, so HR scorecard, that is the reason that HR scorecard is designed and implemented in the organization to measure the impact of HR products and services. It helps to track HR impact, HR values, and HR costs. So, in elaborate, if I'll be defining it out, so it is HR scorecard is a strategic HR measurement system that helps to measure, manage, and improve the strategic role of the HR department. So it is a tool for measuring the contribution of HR to the overall performance of an organization. And as you said, Rupesh, KPI, so it includes actually, one of the part is that. So HR scorecard includes key performance indicators on what that you people need to know in HR scorecard, the KPI on HR investments. It includes KPI, key performance indicators on HR investment, HR costs, HR practices, competencies, productivity, and any other factor important to the organization. Okay, so basically, what is it? That's why we have already discussed what is the HR scorecard. It is the measuring tool. It is actually the measurable tool. You can see on first is the objective. What is the HR scorecard? We have already told that human resource scorecard matches business strategy against HR deliverables and objectives to provide a statistical basis by which HR efficiency and contribution to strategy implementation can be measured. So whatever terminology coming into the definition, HR deliverables, HR efficiency, HR architecture, all will be discussing into the process of it in the developing process. So in the very simplified language, I have told you what is HR scorecard. It was first developed by the Dave Ulrich in 2001, and what is it? It is a tool which basically for measuring the contribution of HR to the overall performance of an organization, and it includes KPIs. Okay, so lead up. What I was saying in indicator, these leading indicators are the measurements that predict future business growth. So we have discussed about the indicators. What does it include? It includes the indicators measurement. So how will be doing the measurement? So by indicating the performance of the business. So two types of indicators are used. We have discussed into the second session also, the leading and the lagging indicators.
Lagging.
Yeah, business indicators are of two types, leading and lagging. What are the lagging indicators? Anybody can recall? Anybody can recall? What are the lagging and what are the leading indicators to indicate the business performances? No one can recall?
Lag means tangible things
Exactly.
we call lag.
Lagging
And
indicators
lead
are the
is
tangible. And that
tangible.
how? Then tell me, then what are the lagging indicators? These are the you are so rightly you have said that is a tangible. So what are the tangible indicators to show the business performances? Is the profit, the
Profit
revenue
growth,
growth.
growth like that.
Exactly. Profit margin, the profit and the revenue growth. Okay, so these are the tangible indicators. So those
Tangible.
all will be the part of the HR scorecard impact. So that's what I was telling you. These are, so KPI, HR deliverables, HR deliverables are also known as HR metrics. Okay, so all these
Yeah.
and the KPI all will be the part of the HR scorecard. Card. Okay, so once we have discussed it, what is any question you need to ask over here? What is HR scorecard? Is it clear to all of you?
Yes, ma'am. Now
Okay,
it's clear.
so now we'll be moving to the objective of the HR scorecard. Okay, so what are the objectives of the HR scorecard? So objective, when we talk about the objectives of the HR scorecard, so you need to know to know HR scorecard is basically a management tool. So forward management tool which allows a business to manage the HR as a strategic asset and a source of competitive advantage. As I told you, when we're developing the HR strategy, then we need to provide a roadmap to the company, how to leverage their human capital and how to use manage the HR as a source of competitive advantage. So major one of the major objective of the HR scorecard is to provide the business a strategic or the competitive advantage. Okay, so second objective of the HR scorecard is it provides a demonstrate the quantitative HR contribution to the company's financial results and the bottom line profitability. So how HR, as I told you, how to HR can contribute to the growth of the company, how they can assist the company in achieving the business objective. This is the one of the major objective of developing the HR scorecard. So third, it created and measures the degree of alignment between the strategy of the business and its HR architecture. When we talk about the HR architecture, anybody can tell me what is HR architecture actually? What do we mean? Anyone can? So this is the
As
one
I
of the
understand, ma'am,
yeah. Go ahead.
HR architect is how we design our policies and I mean like that. Maybe this is HR architect. Structure, policies.
Anyone exactly. So what is happening? HR is architecture as a strategic asset we used to call. If the focus of the corporate strategy is to create a sustained competitive advantage, to maximize its contribution to that advantage through its architecture. HR architecture is actually three-dimensional. So HR architecture are three dimensions that makes up the value chain. When we talk about the value chain, anybody understand what do we mean by in terms of business? What is the value chain? What is the value chain? Anybody can understand what is the meaning of this value chain? Because HR architecture is three dimension that makes up the value chain. What does it include? I'll be telling you because as she was telling it out. So value chain is that means the supplier to company, company to distribution, distribution to customer. This is the value chain of the company actually. So how to make the value chain for that HR architecture is done. HR architecture actually includes the HR function, HR system, and the employee behavior. So HR functions made up of the HR professionals with the strategic competencies. When we talk about the HR system, then the company's high performance strategically aligned policies and practices we are talking about. Whatever the practices and HR practices and the HR policies and the processes are developed, that is the part of the HR system. Then third will be is the employee behavior. The employee behavior that strategically focus competencies, motivations, and associated employee behavior to achieve the objective business objective. What motivation is required to the employee and what kind of associated behavior is required from the employee or expected by the company. That is the part of the HR architecture. So they need to work on that in fact. So HR system is the actually linchpin of the HR strategic influence. That means a vital of the HR strategic influence. So the most of the effective model will be discussing into the third when the process will be discussing it out. So objectives of the HR scorecard in the very simplified language also I would like to make you understand that HR scorecard actually is developed from the four perspectives. What are those perspectives? Anyone can tell? You people must be working in the balance scorecard also. Today we are discussing about the HR scorecard. Difference is there little. So when we talk HR scorecard is actually developed from the four perspectives: the finance perspective, then internal customer perspective, then the internal process perspective, and then learning and growth perspective. So when we discuss the objectives of the HR scorecard from the various perspectives, then the from the internal customer perspective, what is the HR scorecard objective is to improve the, increase the internal customer satisfaction. Who are the internal customers of the company?
Implies.
Exactly. So the first objective of the HR scorecard from the employee perspective is to increase the employee satisfaction. Okay. Second perspective, internal process perspective. When we discuss the objective of the HR scorecard from the internal process perspective, then the objective is to improve the performance of the organization. So in that, identify, communicate, and collaborate with partners, increase mobility, improve department efficiency, and improve the system safety and security. This is internal process objective of the HR scorecard from the perspective of the internal process perspective. When we talk up from the financial perspective or the so objective of the HR scorecard is to improve the effective resource management. That means how to effectively manage the financial resources, how to implement strategic workforce planning, that the manpower planning, how to implement the strategic manpower planning or workforce planning, which is known as, and how to protect and enhance the working environment. So that is the perspective from the resource management perspective. When we talk about the objective of HRS scorecard from the L&D perspective, then enter the what is the objective? The objective is to improve the employee development. How to develop the employees of the company, how to increase the bench strength. That means how to improve the employee retention, how to optimize the employee health and safety, how to align employees around the department missions. Whatever is the departmental objective, if that will be achieved, then only the organizational or the business objective will be achieved. So how to align the employees along with the departmental objective or the mission. So that is also the objective of the HR scorecard. So anything, are you understanding the objectives of HR scorecard in elaborate manner from the all the four perspectives? So anything you need to ask till here? Anyone? Is it clear?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now we'll be moving development of the HR scorecard, which I have already described you. The development of an HR scorecard must be done with four perspectives in mind as follows. The financial perspective, customer perspective, that is the internal customers we are talking about, the employee perspective, and the internal process perspective, and the learning and growth perspective. The HR employees can implement steps to align HR goals with the overall company mission, vision, and the business objectives. We need to understand the company's inside and outside, the mission, what is the mission of the company, vision of the company, what are the business objective, and then we need to align the HR goals along with that. So development of HR scorecard, when we talk about, so steps we are talking about, steps to align. So what are the steps to align the HR goals with the overall company mission, vision, and business objectives? That is the five steps. So this is the next five steps to create the HR scorecard. So here will come the most important part, how to develop the HR scorecard we are talking about. Okay. So first step for developing the HR scorecard is create an HR strategy map. Who knows what is this HR strategy map? You all must have heard about this strategy map, HR strategy map. What is HR strategy map? Who can tell me? First step is creating an HR strategy map. Who can tell me?
It's a concrete planning of HR
Hmm.
strategy. I mean, how we go ahead,
Yes,
steps.
yes. Anybody else can tell me? Anybody else can tell me? I'll show you the strategy map designing. This is the HR strategy map.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, and you can see it has been developed from the four perspectives: financial, internal customers, HR internal process, and the learning
Learning.
learning and growth perspective. So this is the designing of the HR strategy. So first, when we are developing the HR scorecard, so first step we need to create an HR strategy map, because
Strategy.
HR strategy map is a detailed map that shows where your destination is and how you can get there. So HR strategy map, basically it is a very simple, clean, visual representation of what, of the strategic organizational objectives, which can be referred easily. You can see it out. A financial thing. What are the strategic or organizational objective from the financial perspective of the company? Is the enhanced ROI of HR strategic initiatives, enhance employee productivity, and then drive long run term shareholder value. From the internal customers perspective, what are the strategic objective of the company is to create the positive work environment and then enhance the employee satisfaction, which we were talking about. From the employee perspective, one of the major objectives of the HR scorecard is enhancing or improving or increasing the employee satisfaction. When we talk about the HR from the HR internal process perspective, then what are the strategic objective of the organization? Apply excellence recruitment process, develop strategic employee competencies, getting it out to what kind of skills, what advanced skills are required, competencies required. We're talking about the KSA over here. So developing the KSA of the employee, strategic employee. So it's not vague skills we are talking about, because we are aligning with the business objective. So what our business, what kind of skills and the competencies are required by our business, what kind of employees who should be possessing, which kind of a KSA is required, that we need to develop when we are aligning the HR with the business strategy. So when we are developing the HR scorecard. So third is the implement best talent management practices. Okay. And the fourth, from the HR internal process, the fourth strategic objective of the company is to optimize the performance management system. Okay. From learning and growth, when we talk about, so learning and growth, so what is the strategic organizational objective is to develop the internal HR capabilities and they deploy the HRIS system. So HRIS system, you must all be aware of this, human resource information system. Developing the, actually we were talking about the computerized HRIS system. So deploying the computerized HRIS system. So when we are making it out, so all the data will be available into the, from the, we can always contact them whenever we are requiring any data. So we can have through the HRIS system. So HRI, actually basically what we, when we talk about the developing of the creating and strategy map, so develop the strategy map that illustrates how the company creates the customer value. Essentially a diagram. As I told you, this is very simple, clean, and the visual representation as you can see it out. So it's a diagram of the value chain actually. So developing to drawing this diagram, you need to ask a series of questions about your company's strategic objectives, such as which strategic objectives or goals, outcomes are critical for the company. Then what are the performance drivers? What should be the performance drivers for each goal? How do we measure progress towards these goals? How do employees need to behave to achieve these goals? Then does HR provide employees with the necessary competencies and behavior? So once we have, you have think how have a picture of the company's value chain, then translate the information into a conceptual model using language and graphics, which I'm showing it out, that makes sense in your organization. And then test for understanding. For testing, you need to do the testing of it actually. So before implementation. So whether it is accepted by the employees or not, or by the company or not, by the leaders or not. So test for understanding and acceptance in a small group of opinion folks and then thought leaders throughout the company. Okay. So once this testing is done, then finally we are implementing and final design is they're done of the strategy map. So basically the strategy map we create contains hypotheses about which organizational process drive the company's performance. So a strategy map objective is to map the an organizational strategic objectives into performance metrics in four perspective, that is financial, customer, internal process, and the learning and growth. Okay, so benefit when we're talking about the strategy map, what are the benefit of this strategy map? So as I told you, it unifies the first benefit, it unifies all the goals in single strategy. It helps identify your key goals. It gives every employee a clear goal to keep in mind while accomplishing their task and measures. It helps you see how your objectives affect the others. It allows you to better understand which element of your strategy needs work. So there's so many benefits, and the a strategy map is the major part of the HR scorecard. Okay, so first step when we are developing the HR scorecard, we need to create the HR strategy map. Okay, so now we'll be going to the steps to second step. So what is the second step after creating an HR strategy map? Is the identify the HR deliverables within the strategy map. Okay, so once you have created the strategy map, once you have shown the strategic organization strategic objectives into that map, so now we need to identify the HR deliverables, what HR can deliver. So second, at the second step, think in terms of identifying strategic behavior HR can deliver. At this step, HR deliverables are created. As I told you, for example, from here onwards, I'll be explaining you the steps of developing the HR scorecard through an example of the company. Suppose there is a one high-tech company want to focus on its R&D functions, research and development functions, and they want to explore HR's potential role in the company strategic plan. And now the R&D unit has profitability goals for both revenue growth and productivity improvement, and high-tech revenue growth, where high-tech revenue growth derives from increased customer satisfaction, which is boosted by the product innovation and reliable delivery schedule. So product innovation depends upon what? that depends upon the experienced and talented staff in R&D, whereas the reliable delivery schedule depends upon a optimal staffing in the manufacturing process. So when we now at this step, what is the strategic objective of the company is to have the profitability, both the revenue growth and the productivity improvement. So now we need to identify the HR deliverables from this strategic objective of the organization. So the two HR deliverables that will support company's strategic goals of revenue growth and productivity implement will be: number one will be experienced, talented staff in R&D. This will be the first HR deliverable. Okay, to achieve the strategic goal of the R&D department of the company. Okay, second HR deliverables will be optimal staffing in the manufacturing units. Okay, so when you will be maintaining the optimal staffing into the manufacturing units, then only you can achieve the revenue growth and the productivity improvement. Okay, so surplus manpower is always problematic. So optimal staffing is should be the focus for achieving these two strategic objectives. Okay, profitability in terms of revenue, both objective is there, profitability as well as productivity improvement. So two goals are there, and for that HR deliverables, and this is again how you'll be identifying what will be the HR deliverables. As I told you, number one is experienced, talented staff in R&D is required, and the second HR deliverables will be optimal staffing in the manufacturing unit. Are you getting it out? Why HR deliverables we are talking about, actually HR metrics or HR deliverables we are talking about? See, what is happening? What is the HR deliverables? Who can tell me? Anybody is understanding now? So what was happening in the traditional timing, actually? The HR functions was seen as a overhead, as a cost center, rather than a value creating function. To make the HR function value creating, the key is to identify and measure the HR deliverables that support corporate strategy and the HR systems that create most deliverables. Okay, most of the company, Fortune 100 best company, if I'll be talking about, then their deliverables is making the company a compelling place to work. This is their deliverables. When we talk about the Fortune best company like a Intuit or PwC or the Marriott, so these companies are having the deliverables. So to make the company compelling place to work, and the HR system behind the transformations are recruitment, training, performance management, compensation structure, reward structure, the recognition systems of the company. So second step after creating the strategy map, second step we need to identify the HR levels, what HR can deliver for supporting for achieving those business objectives. Okay, is it clear over here?
Yeah, ma'am. That's why most of the companies are renaming their department as a HR business partner.
Exactly.
HRBP.
Exactly, because HR needs to contribute to the business of the company. HR needs to contribute to the growth of the organization.
Yeah,
and
from
that's
cost
why
center to profit center, they are
yeah,
converting.
from the value creating function, from the
Value
cost
creating
center to the value creating function. Because
Yeah.
however, HR can become a valuable strategic partner that helps the company
Right.
achieving their its goals. Okay.
Right.
So
Right.
third step, now we'll be moving it on. So third step is creating HR policies, process and practices. So only to identify what HR can deliver or not. So just to generate the HR deliverables is required the supporting system. Okay. So another element of the HR scorecard is the another element of the HR scorecard is concerned with HR policies, processes, and practices. So next step, at the third step, the next question to ask yourself is what are the high performing policies, processes, and practices that will help generate the HR deliverables required to support the company's strategy. So when we talk about the set of policies, processes, and practices, as I discussed, I told you HR architecture part also. HR architecture part, what does it include? It is three-dimensional. What are the, it includes HR functions, HR systems, and the employee behavior. So when the set of policies, processes, and the practices that is specifically help to generate the strategic HR deliverables is called HPWS. The full form of it is High Performing Work System. Okay, so HR should create number of HPWS, number of high performing work system that should be supporting the HR deliverables to deliver to the company to achieve the company's strategic objective. So for example, over here, because the high-tech company example I had given, there are the two HR deliverables we have identified at the second step. Now the third step, we need to develop the supporting systems. So to develop and keep an experienced, talented staff in R&D at high-tech company, what system HR must create? HR now needs the competency-based selection method and retention program for prospective and current employees. Okay, this will allow all only talented employees to be hired and retained. So this is the first deliverable was the talented, experienced and talented staff in R&D. For that, what system or what HR policies or the processes will be required is a competency based. First system is required is competency based selection method, then retention program, then regular performance appraisals are also important to ensure that employees are maintaining the required talent and experience level. Okay, so this will be the second regular performance appraisal system is required. Third will be required to will be a short recruitment cycle. That is the length of the time it takes for HR to fill the vacancies will maintain the staff optimal level. So second HR deliverables at this they identifying the HR deliverables optimal staffing in the manufacturing unit was required for the high-tech company. For that, short recruitment cycle will help assist or support the HR deliverables. So these are the examples. So creating HR policies, process and practices to support the to help the generate the HR deliverables required to support company's objective, company strategy. So step 3 we are creating HR policies, processes and practices. Okay. Anybody who need to ask at this getting it out? So first step we created the HR strategy in which we maps the organizational strategic objective. Then we identify the HR deliverables within the strategy map. And the third step, we are creating and developing the HR policies, processes, and practices to support to the HR deliverables to achieve their company's objectives. Is it clear till here? Till step 3?
Yeah.
Are you all
Yes,
understanding?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay. So fourth step, what we need to do, once we have created the HR system, then we need to align the HR systems. Step 4 is aligning is so very important. In this step, we need to focus on specific elements of the system that must reinforce each other to produce the HR deliverables. So when we talk about the system alignment, then here we are not talking about the system alignment, is not about the software system. So you need to understand when we talk about the aligning HR system, which is various policies, various HR practices we are developing and implementing into the company actually. So separately they will be not be the very larger effect of that impact. So system alignment is not about a software system, it is about aligning the different HR practices to create synergy. So what do we mean by synergy? Who can make me understand what is the synergy? When I'm talking about alignment, so aligning different HR practices to create the synergy. What is the meaning of synergy? Anyone can?
Synergy means, I mean, if we add two things, then impact will be more.
So that means to produce the combined effort, yeah, to produce the combined effect.
Combined effect, yeah.
Which will be always be greater than
combined effect, yes.
sum of the some of their separate effects. So if we'll be
Separate.
talking about one HR practices and we're not aligning with each other to them, then there will be no combined effect which will the greater effect actually. So that is the reason at this step, whatever various practices we are developing into the company, whatever various policies we are implementing into the company, we need to align them with each other actually to create the synergy. So for example, so I was giving you the example of the, just a moment, pass it to this, uh, okay. So fourth step is the alignment. For example, as I told you, the high-tech company deliverables, you know right now what system they have developed, a competency-based recruiting is essential for the high-tech company for the strategic priorities. So therefore, the high-tech company can measure how well its HR system is aligned to its strategic goals by monitoring how many new employees were selected based on competency model and how many of those employees came in at the highest of the quality level, highest quality level, how many have achieved. So this is the alignment actually. It only competency based recruitment systems we have developed and we have implemented, but how to align it out with that system. So high-tech company can measure how well its HR system is aligned to its strategic goal by monitoring how many new employees were selected based on the competency model and how many of those employees came in at the highest quality level. So the HR department must also provide the types of benefits that will retain R&D staff. Getting it out? So for the alignment is required, an HR department should provide the types of benefits that will retain the R&D staff, thus allowing the high-tech company to meet its product innovation needs. Okay. So, and since the recruiting cycle time for the manufacturing division affects optimal staffing levels, so HR must attempt to keep this cycle as short as possible. Okay. So, because the system I had told, third system required by the was short recruiting cycle. So, for aligning it out, we need to the HR department needs to attempt to keep this cycle as short as possible so that the optimal staff level should be maintained. Okay, so once step we have done align the HR systems, we have linked them with each other for the creating this synergy. Then the step 5 we need to move the final step, which is the HR efficiency, creating HR efficiency measures. So measures when we talk about, so here it includes KPIs, key performance indicators on the HR efficiency. We need to indicate the HR efficiency. So the final step in developing the measures for an HR scorecard is to identify the exact task and at which HR must be efficient to support the company's strategic goals. For example, high-tech could identify cost per hire as a KPI, as a strategic measure. Getting it out? Because while measuring which measure go into the scorecard, I'll be showing it out at this step now. The strategy map you had shown. This is the designing of the strategy map. We are reflecting the strategic organization objective into that from the core perspective. Now I had told you the major part of the HR scorecard is the strategy map, and then final step we are indicating KPI. It will be including the KPI. So next step you can see for each strategic objective, because the financial perspective there were three objective were there of the company: drive long-term shareholders value, enhance ROI of HR strategic initiative, and then enhance the employee productivity. Now I told you the HR scorecard includes the key performance indicators. So for the driving long-term shareholders, for example, the key performance indicators can be, as I told you, it can be the leading, it can be the lagging indicator. So shareholder value and the shareholder value growth. So shareholder value growth, when we talk about it, it's a leading indicator or it's a lagging indicator? Who can tell me?
Shareholder value.
And the shareholder value growth. Because indicators, I told you, it can be the leading indicators, it can be the lagging indicators.
It's a lagging indicator, ma'am, because value of
shareholder
value. Increasing
shareholder
value, growth, this is growth of
yeah,
shareholder
value, exactly.
Definitely it will be a lagging.
Exactly. Now, second objective is enhance the ROI of HR strategic initiative. What is it? ROI of HR strategy. Up KPI, you can see it out. Okay. Is it visible to all of you? The key performance indicators at your screen?
Yes.
So it's a ROI of HR strategic programs and initiatives. So return on investment is always which indicator it is? Tangible return of investment in the training development also, when we are getting cost benefit analysis we are doing. So what is the formula of the ROI, return on investment? Who can tell me? Anybody can recall the formula of the ROI? After conducting the training, what we are doing? We are calculating the return on investment, isn't it? Formula is program. Yeah. Tell me. Try to recall. First, always we are trying to convert into the financial aspects. Program benefit divided by cost of training multiplied by 100. This is the formula of the return on investment when we are conducting the training and calculating the business cost benefit analysis of the training programs. Then this is we are program benefit in terms of production turnover or in terms of the quality of the product. It depends upon.
Quality.
So to enhance the ROI of HR strategic objectives, you can see the KPI. So this is the part now we need to indicate the performances for each strategic objective. So this is enhancing the employee productivity, because as I told you, for the high-tech company also, the one of the objective is to improve the employee productivity. Apart from the profitability objective, they are having the productivity improvement of objective also. So when we talk about how to indicate it, whether employees are becoming productive or not. So KPIs will be profit for employee and the revenue for employee. So this is the quite tangible indicators. These are the lagging indicators. For each objective
Implies profit divided by number of employees.
Yeah, so profit per employee, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Profit, when we use the profit, so it's a lagging indicator. So revenue, when we talk about, so it is a lagging indicators actually. So that's what I'm saying. Business indicators are two types. So you need to understand this strategic objective first, and then how to indicate it out. So when the key performance indicators are actually developed, then you need to whether it will be tangible or intangible, that you need to decide into it. So I have shown you the strategic. So this is the financial perspective. Okay, from the financial perspective, this will be the key performance indicator. So now it will be go to the strategic objective for employee perspective, then create positive working environment. So key performance indicators will be ranking in best place to work annual survey conducted by the Fortune 900, percentage of employee turnover. So employee retention, the rate of attrition, why we calculate. So creating, if the positive environment will not be there, then the employee will not be retaining. So employee rate of attrition is calculated into the company to see the employee retention. Because there is a when I used to teach the attrition and retention topic actually. So there's a four formula which are very important. So we have rate of attrition we are calculating, and the employee stability rate also we are calculating, and both are What is the relationship between the employee stability rate and the rate of attrition? Anybody can tell me? Oh, internet connection is
Both are
again
tangible, tangible.
till
Lack,
we are.
lack.
No, no. What I'm saying is, what is the relation? What no, no. What I'm saying, what is the relationship between the rate of attrition and the stability employee stability rate?
It's a inversely proportional. I mean,
What is the rate of attrition formula?
if
Who can tell me?
rate is
Anyone? Exactly. Very rightly said.
total number of
It's
employees left divided by total personnel.
proportional. Very rightly said. When the rate of attrition and divided multiplied by 100. So when we're talking, it are inversely
Yeah,
proportional to each other. When if the rate of
yeah,
attrition is high, that means employee stability rate will be low. If the employee stability rate is high, that means
yeah,
employee.
definitely.
So we need not to work on attrition. But if the employee stability, okay, so because that
Yeah,
means the rate of attrition, they are both inversely proportionate. So here, when we talk about the strategic objective of the company in terms of creating positive working environment, the key performance indicators will be the percentage of the employee turnover. Okay, so how KPI is developed by the example. So all enhance internal employee satisfaction. The employee satisfaction index will be there. Employee stability, as I told you, employee stability rate we used to calculate to show the employee satisfaction rate. The process cycle ID into that. Left side is the strategic organization objective, and the right hand side is key performance indicators. Okay, so when we come to final designing of the creating the HR scorecard, so as we told, the objectives will be the HR deliverables, HR efficiency, HR system alignment, and then the high performance work system. As I told describe you. So HR deliverables in objective क्या है HR deliverables objective is to ensure R&D employees have required technical competency, lower staff turnover among us will be the minimize the recruitment cost. HR system alignment objective will be the internal and external selection process based on competency model. Then the recruitment process to ensure high quality recruits, and then retention policies developed and implemented. Then high performing working system, which we told you, HPWS, HR. The third step we are developing. So objective of that is establishing the competency model as basis for recruiting, managing, and rewarding the R&D employees. Extending the appraisals to provide 360 degree appraisal system. You all understand what is it? Because right now most of the professional companies are going for the 360-degree appraisal system. Maruti is having a 720-degree also. So it depends upon the number of employees. So what is a 360-degree appraisal system? Anybody can catch it?
appraised by all stakeholders. I mean,
Hmm.
customers and employees, seniors, juniors, everything
By the it's alongside. So employee will be
alongside.
assessed by its superior, its subordinate, peers, and self-appraisal is the one of the most important constraint of the 360 degree, because no appraisal system provide the opportunity to the employee to appraise themselves. Okay, so why the 360-degree appraisal system has become the most popular into the professional company? Because it empowers the employee, because here in this system, this is the participative system, the peers are also giving the feedback of the employees, not because in the previous appraisal system what was happening, there was a biasness because only superior were giving the uh, the feedback of the employee. But in 360 degree we are taking minimum by the 15 and 16 people feedback for one employee. In that, the minimum the two superior will be there, then the six subordinates will be there, the four peers will be there, and the employee will be there. Will be the self appraisal form to which employee will be telling about themselves, their performances actually. So it empowers the employee actually. So this is the high performance work system when we're talking about. One of the objectives is to extend the appraisal, the transparent appraisal system, which is a 360-degree appraisal system. So as many employee will be giving the feedback, that much transparency will be there. So this system actually work on the concept that the majority speak the, because one employee can lie about the one employee, but the so many people cannot lie about the one employee. So that is the on that concept only these appraisal system has been developed actually to bring the transparency into the appraisal system so that it should not be contributing to the employee dissatisfaction. Okay, so this is the one of the objective of the appraisal system, high performance work system. Then the last one, the establishing the career development process for the employees. So when we talk about the objective we have done, then measures we have already talked about. Measure I have shown you in the elaborate manner also. So what are the measures from the HR deliverables? Percentage R&D employees with required competences. Then the percentage of turnover of high performing R&D staff. Then from HR efficiency, what are the measures? Cost per hire and the R&D recruitment cost. Then HR system alignment, percentage selection procedures based on model, average performance rating of recruits, and then R&D employees satisfaction survey. Then HR from the SPW system, the measure will be availability of competency model, percentage, 360 degrees appraisal, percentage, R&D staff in career development process. After objective and measures in the creating the HR score, there will be the target will be set for each deliverable. So as you can see it out, 75% end of the year first, then 85% end of the year second, and the maximum 2%. Okay. So HR efficiency, minimizing the recruiting cost. Target is minus 10% reduction per annum. Then minus 20 R&D recruitment cost when we talk about the minus 25% reduction per annum. Okay. And then HR system alignment target will be 90%. The percentage of selection decisions based on model should be 90%. Average performance rating of recruit should be above average 5 scale 1 to 7. You can do it out this way. You can show it out. These are the what we are showing you for the examples. This is the one designing of the HR scorecard. Then R&D employee satisfaction survey, 80% positive about retention policies. This should be the target of the company. For the SPWS, availability of competency model, complete end. Okay, 50% of year one, 80% year two, 75% year one, 95% year two for the percentage of R&D staff in career development process. So when we talk about now, we need to take the initiative. What the initiative the company should be doing? So initiative is a plan of action. So for HR systems alignment, the initiative should be taken should be assessment center project, employee survey alignment project, and then SPWS high performance work system. The initiative should be taken development first HR consultancy project or the MSF 360 degree or the managing personal growth program. So this is the one of the designing of the complete HR scorecard. See, there should be the objective in which we should be reflecting the objectives of the HR deliverables, HR efficiency, HR system alignment, and HR, which are the four dimensions of the HR scorecard. HR deliverables, HR efficiency, HR system alignment, and the SPWS. So, and then measure should be there, KPI should be there, then target should be there, and the initiative should be there. So HR strategy key framework I had elaborated you for the Deloitte. So now the next example I'll be showing. So Deloitte HR scorecard I'll be showing it out as an example actually. You can see the Deloitte HR scorecard. See how is they are illustrating it out. So HR. So first is the criteria, then measure, then key performance indicators dashboard is there in which their description is there, result, target, and variance to the target. This is the Deloitte HR scorecard, how they are doing it out. From the majorly criteria will be seeing it out. So it's from which perspective? Criteria is head count, there is recruitment, training and development, succession planning, performance management. So from which perspective I'm showing it out this HR scorecard? Which perspective these criteria are? Anyone? Headcount, recruitment, training and development, succession planning, performance management system. So this is from the perspective of internal customers and internal process perspective. Okay, and the training and development is L&D perspective. So you can see that, yeah. So in Deloitte HR scorecard to measures the head count, the first criteria we're taking it out. So the first criteria is head count. So head count number measure, what is the measure for them is number of FTE. What is the FTE? Anybody understand number of FTEs? What do you mean?
Full time implies. Full time
Ex-
implies.
Yeah, it is stand for the full-time equivalent. That means the number of hours considered full-time. For example, if a company
Yeah.
considers 40 hours full-time, then and there are two employees working 20 hours per week, then these two employees would be equivalent to one FTE. Okay, if the two employees are
Yeah.
working 20 hours and the company's full number of hours considered as a full time is 40 hours. So companies consider 40 hours as a full time and the two employees are working for the 20 hours per week. That means the two employees will be equivalent to one FTE. Okay, so criteria head count we will be talking about the description into the Deloitte is changes in workforce numbers and hours utilized by employees categories. Result they are showing it at 440, target is 450. Okay, so result they achieved the head count is 440, target was 450. So now they are showing variance to target. So what is the variance to target is 10. You can
I
see
mean
it out.
difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
difference. The variance is the difference of target. So they targeted to achieve 450, but they achieved 440. So there is a difference of 10. Okay,
40
FTE.
only.
Yeah. So recruitment,
10.
in terms of recruitment, you can see it out measure. They have shown percentage of new hires achieving 6 month services. Okay, and the second measure they are showing average time to fill a vacancy. So for the percentage of new hires, they are describing it. Our description is staff retention performance throughout the organization. So result is 75%, but target was 80%. So variance, the difference is of 5%. Average time to fill a vacancy. So recruitment performance throughout the organization they're talking about. So result is 20. They targeted 25. So variance again is 5. Okay. So this way only the HR scorecard I'm telling you. This is the one of the designing training and development. You can see how they used to measure what are the KPIs, average training hours per employee. This is the KPI percentage training course participant satisfaction. Okay, so average training hours per employee. The description is time commitment to staff training and development. So result is 30 and the targeted was 40. So again the variance is 10. Getting it on succession planning, performance management, all they are doing it on because they are the very progressive company. So they are doing the succession because all the professional companies go for the succession planning just to improve the employee retention, all help in improving the employee retention and controlling the rate of attrition also. So if in case anyone is leaving the organization, so immediately there should be someone to succeed that position. For that, they are identifying the key positions, critical position of the company, and they are giving the training to employ, employ throughout the year to succeed the positions which will be coming into the future. So succession planning का measure क्या they have shown percentage of internal appointments above levels. So internal appointment. Why does a company are doing the succession planning? Because they want to fill the vacancy internally. They don't want to hire from the outside because
Outside.
internal appointments. Yeah, because those employees are better than external than the new employees. They know the company, they know the business, they know the key people of the organization. So the succession planning, that's where the professional companies are built because try to fill the vacancies to the internally. So description is succession planning effectiveness. So result was 10%. They are showing it out 100% actually they are targeted and the 100% they achieved. So the variance is 0%. So such a good Deloitte, as I told you, it's a very professional company. They're very growing, consistent in the market, so you can see it out. The effectiveness of the succession planning, there's no variance actually. They targeted 100% and they achieved the 100%. Then performance management system, you can see it out. What is the result of the measure? They are showing percentage of appraisals completed on time and the percentage of individual training plans completed. So they are describing it out into the terms of performance management effectiveness throughout the organization. So 90% the result was they targeted 100%, so variance is 10%. then the percentage of individual training plans completed. So they targeted 100% and they achieved 100%. So 0% variance. So this was the Deloitte, because I told you the HR strategy key framework of the Deloitte 10 steps, and then Deloitte HR scorecard also you can see it out. So strategy map designing we have done, the process of the developing HR scorecard we have done, then the complete HR KPIs, how we are developing the KPIs that we have done. Okay, so now, so when I conclude to the HR actually a scorecard, then as I told you, what is the critic view of the HR scorecard? When I'll conclude the HR scorecard, then I would like to mention the 2019 podcast interview of the Dev Aldrich. Because who has developed the HR scorecard? Who initiated? Who has developed the HR scorecard? I told you in the beginning also. Dev Aldrich and Baker. The HR scorecard was developed in 2001 by the Dev Aldrich. And after 18 years, I'm mentioning you the podcast interview of 2019 of the Dev Aldrich. So when I conclude, one of the writer of the original 2001 publication, the HR scorecard, said that Dave, as is the co-author, said that after 18 years, I'm really shocked to see how the HR scorecard is treated in the market. Today, I should be shocked because it is what he said actually when he concluded HR scorecard, that HR scorecard is not about the HR. What he said, that HR scorecard should not be about the HR. It is about enabling the market and opportunity. It is about the building the competitive advantage, and it is about the driving the business results. So it should not be misinterpreted into the market that HR scorecard is about the HR. So HR scorecard, you people also try to understand, need to understand that HR scorecard is not about the HR, it is about the enabling the market opportunity for the organization. It is about building the competitive advantage for the organizations, and it is about the driving the business results. According to Dave Ulrich, he said, I often ask one question to all the business leaders and the HR leaders, that what is the most important or best thing HR can give an employee of the organization? So what he said, the answers are usually a sense of purpose, a sense of belongingness, opportunity to learn, the compensation, the teamwork. These are the usual answers of the HR leaders and the business leaders whenever I'm asking one question to them, that what best, what most important or best thing that HR can give an employee. But as for the Dave Ulrich, that he used to say that they are missing the most important thing out of this. The most, and his answer is that the most important thing HR can give an employee is company that wins in the marketplace. Getting it out? So HR should be focusing it to give the competent the company that wins in the marketplace actually. And that is the significance of the HR scorecard actually. The HR scorecard is not at all about the HR, but it is how this is definitely a management tool which gives the competitive advantage to the company to effectively utilize the human capital for achieving the business objectives. So it is all about the enabling the market opportunity, building the competitive advantage, and driving and achieving the business results of the company. Okay, so here we are completing the HR scorecard. So is it clear to all of you? Till here, HR scorecard. Anything you need to ask to the HR scorecard? Because this is the first topic we are completing it out. What is the HR scorecard? What is the objective of the HR scorecard? Developing from the four perspective, it is developed, and then what are the process? There are the major 5 steps. Is the processing development, creating the strategy map, then identifying the HR deliverables within the strategy map, then creating the HR policies, processes, and the practices, and then aligning those HR systems, and then finally HR efficiency measures or KPI, key performance indicators to develop to indicate the strategic organizational objectives. Okay, so full designing part also I had shown you of the Deloitte HRS scorecard. So anything else you need to ask till here? Is it the concept is clear of the HRS scorecard? Should I?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay. So second topic today we'll be covering is the HRD strategy. So what is HRD strategy? So till last classes we discussed about the functional HR, that is the human resource management. Functional HR we have already discussed about. Now today we'll be discussing about the human resource development strategy. What is the human resource HRD strategy? So who can tell me the difference between the human resource management and the human resource development? What is the basic differences? Till here we have done the functional HR. Now we are talking about the human resource development. So what is the difference between the HRM and HRD?
HRM means, ma'am, how we are managing the employees, I mean, the humans, but how we are managing people. But HRD means how we are going to develop, I mean, the skills and competency these are. So,
Okay, anybody else will be replying or only Rupesh will be replying today? I thought okay, I am not well, but I'm. It is. It seems that so many people are not well today. Huh? Nobody else is speaking
Human
today.
resource management, rightly said by Rupesh, like it is about the management of the employee, wherein the basically the objective is to improve the efficiency of the person, of the individual or the employee. Wherein in HRD, the focus is mainly on the overall growth or development of the employee. So basically, there comes the role of training, learning, and development.
In the HRD strategy, actually, you need to understand the difference between the HR functional HR and the human resource development actually. Because the HR strategy key framework we have already discussed into the last sessions, and I had given you the recap also of it into the today's morning sessions actually. The human resource management and the human resource development will be speak about. So as I told you people have already told that human resource management is it refers to how the principles of management can be applied to manage the employees working in an organization effectively. So the approach into the human resource management is a maintenance approach. Managing how to manage the organizational employees is the approach of the human resource management. HRM is a management function basically. When we talk about the human resource development, that it refers to continuous development of functions that are implemented for improving the performance of those working in an organization. So approach under the human resource development is a development approach. HRM maintenance approach and into the human resource development, the development approach is there. And major difference. Human resource management is the what is it? It is the branch of the management, whereas the human resource development is the sub-function of the human resource management. I had told in the first session that training and development is the one of the most important sub-function of the HRD. But HRD is the
HRD.
sub-function of the HRM. Exactly. So this is the first relations into that. So HRD, when we talk about the HRM processes, actually, the HRM processes incorporate a wide range of activities that include recruitment and selection, orientation and induction, training and skill development, feedback mechanism, performance appraisal system, compensation and incentive and reward system, in staff motivation system, health and welfare system, change management, etc. These are the HRM also aims to maintain the good relationships across the entire organization at the different level of management. But when we talk about the HRD, the HRD is defined as the development of employees working in an organization, and it is a subset of HRM as we discussed. It is a sub-function of the HRM. So HRD aims at improving the skill, competency, and knowledge. That is a case. It aims at HRD aims at behavior and attitude of the improving the behavior and attitude of the people working in a specific organization. The main goal of HRD activities relates to empowering and strengthening the capabilities of employees for making their performance metrics better. So these are the main goal of the HRD activities actually. The HRD functions, HRD activities or the main activities of the HRD, as I told you, the HR functional HR, HRM activities are the recruitment and selection, whereas the main activities of the HRD is the career development, the talent management development, the essential employee identification, training and development, succession planning, coaching and mentoring, performance management system. So these are the main activities of the HRD human resource development. When we need to align these HRD activities with the business objective, then it is known as HRD strategy. So HRD strategies are a plan that define how the human resources would utilized through the use of an integrated array of training, organizational development, and the career development effort to achieve individual as well as organizational objectives. Okay, so today we'll be discussing about the time is there, no? 11:30 has been done. Oh, I'll be moving faster. So major HRD strategy are communication strategy. I can show it out. The major HR communication strategy, accountability and ownership strategy, quality strategy. Why communication strategy is developed into the organization? Because in today's changing scenario, it is essential to educate and train employees about the change. So this is the one of the major HRD strategies which is developed when we are aligning the HRD with the business strategy. Second is the accountability and ownership strategy. Why this strategy is required? Because in accountability, we need to make the employee accountable. So employees accountability and ownership leads to higher productivity and customer satisfaction. And that is the reason that HRD departments are developing the accountability and ownership strategy into the organization for to contribute to the growth of the organization. Then third is a quality strategy. Why quality strategy is developed and formulated into the company? So quality needs to be fostered in the employees through training and development. Employees are not looking for the quantitatively. So quality persons will be, there will be the quality persons, then only they will be giving their 100%, and then only they will be telling to the organization and contributing to the growth of the organization. Okay. Then another important HRD strategy is the cost reduction strategy. Cost reduction strategy, why the companies are formulating actually. So every employee contributes in saving crucial as a small contribution from each employee can be pulled by organization to save substantial saving at the end of a given period and enhances competitive strategy. It is all about the saving the cost, reducing the cost. Okay, so if the employee will be reduced, then the overall organizational cost will be reduction strategy. Then next most important is right now the companies are focusing on entrepreneurship strategy. So entrepreneurship is the employee need to be independent entrepreneur who can be generate ideas and bring them to reality by using the existing resources and support of the organization to create innovative and creative product and services. So entrepreneurship strategy is that's why today's the main focus of the all the progressive, creative, and the productive are very much focusing on entrepreneurship strategy that they want to employ, they're encouraging the new ideas of the employee, they're encouraging the innovative idea of the employee so that employee and they are creating the productive and culture into the organization. So last is the cultural building strategy. Culture building strategy. Why? Because organizations value its employees have some sustainable competitive edge over competitors because employees are highly charged, motivated and committed. Culture should be that. So working culture, the good working culture is so very essential into the company because wherever the culture is bad, the employees are not retaining. So to take as a good culture, company culture to take as a competitive advantage, this strategy is formulated into the company for improving the rate of retention into the company. So if the everything is okay, but the culture is not good, the valuable employees, the good employees, the professional employees are not retaining into the company. So that's why these strategies are formulated by the HRD department. So when we talk about the benefits of the HRD strategy, then what are the benefits of this HRD strategy? So it increases the extrinsic as well as intrinsic job satisfaction, internal as well as external job satisfaction. It is provided to the employees of the company. It boosts the satisfaction. Then third, effective and efficient use of the resources. When when we are talking about the benefits actually, so it enhances the skill-based competency. So HRD employees based competency. It increases the employee's motivation. It improves or shapes the employee's attitude. It increases the employee's satisfaction. It ensures the efficiency because every organization is having the finite resources. No organization is having the infinite resources. So HRD strategy ensures, this is the benefit of the HRD strategy, that it ensures the effective utilization of the resources available with the organization. It improves the organizational effectiveness and reform performance. So you can see it out. So developing the working environment, making human resources development activities proactive and impactful, then equipping human resources to apply theoretical knowledge practically and increasing the productivity. And the higher productivity is the ultimate goal of the all the organizations. Higher, as I told you, the higher productivity will be leading to the higher profitability for the company. Higher profitability, more turnover. This is the ultimate goal of the business goal of all the organizations. So these are the benefits of the HR strategy. When we talk about the developing process actually of the strategy, then the developing process is almost same of whichever strategy we are developing it out actually. Because in the second session I had discussed about the developing the strategic planning, process of developing the strategic planning. Then second, HR strategy, functional HR strategy, the key framework we discussed about. Now the fourth session we are discussing about the process of developing the HRD strategy. Then the first step, what we need to do first is, as I had told you in HR strategy, understand the business strategy. Here also you need to know your company inside and outside. What do we mean by knowing your company inside and outside? Anybody can tell me what is the meaning of knowing employee inside and outside? Step one, while developing the HRD strategy, this is the step one. Means before crafting the HRD strategy, you need to know your company's mission, vision, goals, current positions, where the company is right now, then current workforce and the workforce strength. Then you need to know the organizational structure, organization hierarchy. You need to ask yourself that can your organization's internal capabilities deliver on its business goals, and then talk to your employees and find out if they are motivated or if they have challenges to the organization. So first step before developing the HR, crafting the HRD strategy, you need to know the content organization intent. So what is the mission statement of the company? What is the vision statement of the company? what is the goal of the organization, then only we can align the HRD activities along with the organizational objective. So after knowing your company's vision, mission, goal, structure, hierarchy, you need to step two. You need to move the craft your HR strategy. So crafting your HR strategy, creating your HR strategy